There are achievements, and then there are achievements. The telephone let one human annoy another human from further away. Spaceflight allowed us to place expensive metal into the sky and then hope very hard. But in 1985, the ZX Spectrum received Saboteur, and civilization quietly had to admit that all previous progress had been rehearsal. This is OmegaVG, and today we are looking at Saboteur on the ZX Spectrum, the 48K stealth miracle that made the Industrial Revolution look like a warm-up act with coal dust. On paper, it is a ninja infiltrating a guarded complex. In practice, it is mission planning, route economics, violence management, escape theory, and workplace health and safety collapsing into one phenomenal cassette-shaped superstructure. If you describe Saboteur as a little old ninja game, you are not wrong, but you are also doing the same emotional damage as calling the moon a gray biscuit. This thing is compact, yes. Primitive by modern standards, yes. But the design is so concentrated that modern games with 400 gigabytes and a launch day patch should have to stand outside and think about what they have done. The mission is beautifully simple. Get into the facility, find the objective, sabotage the place, escape by helicopter. That is not just a plot. That is a full action film, a logistics exam, and a nervous breakdown in sportswear. The genius is that every part of that mission matters mechanically.
Do not talk about Fight Club. Second.
The building is not a backdrop. The building is the main villain, the director, the producer, the stunt coordinator, and the angry clipboard person from compliance. Every room asks a question. Do you fight? Do you climb? Do you detour? Do you preserve health? Do you keep moving? Do you have even the faintest idea where the helicopter is? Or are you just doing interpretive panic in a warehouse? This is why Saboteur feels so much bigger than the screen. It does not need a modern objective marker screaming at you like a fluorescent parent. It makes the map itself become the lesson. You enter confused, you suffer, you remember, and slowly the complex changes from a pile of hostile rectangles into a route you can actually execute. That is the first miracle. Movement has cost. In weaker games, walking left and right is just the player politely relocating. In Saboteur, every step is a tiny withdrawal from the bank account of survival. A ladder is not scenery. It is a negotiation with gravity. A doorway is not a doorway. It is a legally binding contract with whatever horror is waiting on the next screen. The Spectrum is doing this with almost nothing. No radar cone, no cinematic stealth vision. No guard barking must have been the wind like a man whose job is to lose arguments with cardboard boxes. Saboteur just places danger in space and trusts the player to understand that being careless is how ninjas become floor texture.
I have to return some videotapes.
This is stealth before stealth had a luxury vocabulary. It is not about crouching in waist-high shrubbery while a meter changes color. It is about pressure. The guard is in the way. The dog is fast. The ladder is exposed. The room transition is a gamble. The building does not need to explain itself because the building is already explaining itself, with consequences. And the dogs, good grief, the dogs. A guard is a problem with shoes. A dog is a guided missile with fur and an HR complaint. The moment a dog appears, the room changes from a plan into a sprinting academic paper on fear. The game understands that one fast enemy can do more for tension than 1,000 lines of tutorial text. The second miracle is route design. Saboteur makes the player feel like they are discovering a classified diagram smuggled out of a government bunker. Early attempts are messy. You go the wrong way. You fight the wrong enemy. You learn that confidence without knowledge is just slapstick with a health bar. But each failure adds information. That room connects there. That ladder matters. That enemy can be bypassed. That item is worth the detour. That screen is where optimism goes to be audited. The map becomes memory, and memory becomes power. This is not just level design. This is cartography with a black belt.
Not today.
That is why the game still feels modern in a very old jacket. So many later games sell themselves on freedom, but then quietly guide you through padded corridors with icons and apologies. Saboteur gives you a mission and says, there is the building, try not to disgrace the species. It is brutal, but also weirdly respectful. The third miracle is combat restraint. You can fight, which is exactly why fighting matters. If Saboteur simply removed combat, stealth would be obvious. Instead, it gives you the ability to punch and kick, then dares you to waste it. This is design sophistication wearing a headband and refusing to fill out paperwork. A bad player treats every dart like a personal invitation to start a martial arts documentary. A better player asks whether the fight actually helps the route. The best player understands the terrifying truth. Sometimes the most advanced ninja technique is leaving a man alone because you have a disc to steal and a helicopter to catch. That is funny, but it is also a real design point. Combat competes with time, health, positioning, and future options. The game does not need a morality system. It has a cost system. Violence is allowed, but it is not free. Saboteur figured this out in 48K, while modern games were still years away from inventing 10-minute tutorials about stamina.
Imagine chaos is a ladder.
The fourth miracle is objective logic. You are not wandering around collecting glowing nonsense because the game has a quota to meet. You have a mission. That mission gives meaning to space. Before the objective, the facility is a problem to penetrate. After the objective, the facility becomes a problem to survive in reverse. This is the point where Saboteur starts casually outperforming several branches of human engineering. A bridge is impressive, yes. But does a bridge make you reconsider every decision you made before crossing it? Does a bridge ask whether you conserved enough health before returning through a room with a dog in it? Exactly. Score 1 for the cassette. The extraction is the master stroke. Many games end when you touch the important thing. Saboteur says no, congratulations. Now prove your plan had an exit strategy. That is not a small detail. That is the entire mission snapping into focus like the universe has just found its reading glasses. The escape changes the meaning of everything. Health becomes future insurance. Enemy positions become unpaid debts. detours become regrets with ladders attached. The player is not just thinking about the next room anymore. The player is thinking like an operator, which is to say, a person who would very much like to survive their own cleverness.
I am Jack's complete lack of surprise.
What?
Modern extraction shooters, immersive sims, stealth games, and speedruns all understand pieces of this. Saboteur gets there with a handful of screens, a mission disk, a bomb, and the absolute nerve to assume the player can learn. It is absurdly efficient. If NASA had designed the Apollo program like Saboteur designs pressure, the moon would have surrendered by Tuesday. The fifth miracle is screen economy. Saboteur communicates with ruthless clarity. Ladders, rooms, enemies, platforms, tools, exits. It is sparse, but it is not vague. The player is not decoding a decorative mural. They are reading immediate tactical information. The screen says, here is the problem. Here are the costs. Please stop improvising like a confused appliance. This is where old hardware becomes a design advantage. The spectrum cannot drown the mission in cinematic debris, so the mission has to be clean. The fantasy is not buried under collectible sandwiches, crafting minerals, prestige currencies, and a sad man on the radio explaining door handles. You know why you are there. You know what matters. You know failure is approaching with a clipboard. That clarity is why Saboteur feels cinematic without acting like a film. The story comes from verbs. Enter. Climb, fight, avoid, steal, plant, escape. Those are strong verbs. They build a story in the player's hands. You do not need a cutscene of a man staring sadly at rain when the player has just survived 3 rooms and is now bargaining emotionally with a ladder.
Choose life. Choose a job.
Now, is the game frictionless? Absolutely not. This is 1985. The controls have elbows. The timing can be harsh. The punishment can feel like being graded by a machine that hates excuses. Returning to it after modern smoothing can feel like shaking hands with a toaster that has strong opinions. But that friction is part of the texture. Saboteur wants respect. It does not want you to stroll in, mash buttons, and receive a participation helicopter. It wants knowledge, restraint, and root discipline. It wants you to understand that sabotage is not a vibe. It is logistics with occasional kicking. The funny thing is that the game becomes fairer the more ridiculous you realize it is. At first it looks mean. Later it looks structured. Then it starts looking elegant. Then, if you are not careful, you begin saying dangerous things like, this 48K ninja warehouse may be one of the great achievements of applied science. That is the OmegaVG point. Saboteur is not phenomenal because it is old. Nostalgia is not the argument. It is phenomenal because its pieces are arranged with purpose. The space pressures you. Combat tempts you. Objectives focus you. Extraction judges you. Failure teaches you. Success feels earned because the route has become knowledge.
Yeah, well, the dude abides.
For modern designers, the takeaway is almost embarrassing. You do not need giant systems if your core pressures are honest. Make movement matter. Make space readable. Make combat a trade-off. Make the exit part of the mission. Let the player build a mentioned model. Then get out of the way and let the design do its work. For players, the takeaway is even simpler. Saboteur is a compact masterpiece of panic, planning, and overconfident pajama violence. It is the rare game where every improvement feels like your brain has installed a better operating system. You do not merely beat the building. You become the kind of person the building has to take seriously. So yes, the telephone was useful. Spaceflight was impressive. The printing press probably deserves a polite nod. But Saboteur gave humanity something greater. A tiny ninja mission where every ladder, dog, punch, detour, disc, bomb, and helicopter becomes part of one glorious design equation. Is it literally the most phenomenal game ever created, succeeding modern spaceflight and the telephone? I am not saying the Nobel Committee should resign and hand the medals to Clive Townsend, because I am a responsible analyst. I am only saying they should hold an emergency meeting and bring a ZX Spectrum.
And winter is coming.
This is Saboteur, a 48K infiltration machine, a stealth game before the genre had polished shoes, a route planning lesson disguised as an action game, a work of absurdly concentrated design that proves human evolution did not peak with duels, language, or rockets. It peaked when a player learned to steal the disc, plant the bomb, and get to the helicopter without embarrassing the entire species.